Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about something we've all experienced. You ever had that one person, no matter what you do, where you go, or how busy you try to keep yourself, they just stay in your head like a song you didn't ask for, but it keeps playing on repeat. Now you might be wondering, why? Why is this person renting space in your mind like they own the place? Well, let me break it down for you. When someone is always on your mind, it's not just a random occurrence. It's not by accident. The reason a particular person keeps appearing in your thoughts is that they have left an emotional imprint on you. Our minds don't hold on to things that don't matter. So if someone lingers in your thoughts, it's because they've affected you in a way that your brain refuses to forget. Maybe it was love, admiration, or even deep frustration. Maybe they made you feel alive, challenged you, or even hurt you. But whatever the case, their presence in your mind means they mattered in your story, even if they're no longer in your life. Often, the reason they keep showing up in your thoughts is that your mind is still seeking closure. It's still searching for answers, for understanding, for a way to wrap up the emotions tied to that person. Maybe things ended abruptly, or there were things left unsaid. Maybe you're still holding on to hope, or you're struggling to move on from the connection. The brain doesn't like unfinished business, so it keeps replaying moments, conversations, and emotions in an attempt to make sense of them. But here's the truth. Closure doesn't always come from the other person. It comes from within. One of the hardest things to accept is that just because someone is always on your mind doesn't mean you're on theirs. That's a tough pill to swallow, but it's important to recognize. You could be thinking about them every day, analyzing every detail of what happened while they've moved on without a second thought. And that's not a reflection of your worth. It's just the reality of human relationships. People play different roles in each other's lives, and sometimes what feels significant to you might not hold the same weight for them. Instead of just asking yourself why this person keeps coming up in your thoughts, take it a step further and ask what their presence in your mind is trying to teach you. Are they a reminder of the kind of person you want or don't want in your life? Are they showing you something about yourself that you need to work on, whether it's self-love, boundaries, or emotional healing? Every thought we hold on to has the potential to be a lesson if we choose to see it that way. The key is shifting your focus from dwelling on the person to understanding the message behind their lingering presence in your mind. At the end of the day, your mind is powerful, but you are in control of it. If someone is taking up too much space in your thoughts, you have the ability to redirect your energy. Instead of letting them live in your head rent-free, start shifting your focus to things that truly serve you. Once you learn the lesson they were meant to teach you, you can let go of the attachment. And when you free yourself from that distraction, you create space for something new, something better to enter your life. When someone is constantly on your mind, it often means your brain is searching for closure. The human mind doesn't like loose ends, and when a relationship or connection ends without resolution, it keeps replaying the memories, conversations, and emotions, trying to make sense of them. Maybe things ended too soon, or maybe there were unanswered questions. Maybe you were left wondering what could have been if circumstances had been different. Your thoughts are a way of seeking understanding, as if solving the puzzle will finally bring peace. But the truth is, closure isn't something that always comes from another person. It's something you have to create for yourself. It's easy to believe that if someone is constantly on your mind, it must mean something deep, that the universe is sending you a sign, or that you're somehow meant to reconnect. But in reality, your brain is just working through unfinished emotions. Your attachment to a person might not be about who they are now, but about who they were to you at a specific moment in time. Maybe they represented happiness, safety, or excitement. Maybe they reminded you of a version of yourself that you miss. Sometimes we don't even miss the person, we miss the feelings they gave us. And that's why our mind refuses to let them go. There are times when thinking about someone over and over again isn't even about them, it's about you. Their presence in your thoughts can be a reflection of something deeper inside you that needs healing. Are you seeking validation? Do you have unresolved regrets? Are you holding on to a version of the past because the future feels uncertain? The mind has a way of bringing up people when there's something we need to learn about ourselves. Instead of focusing on the person, shift your attention inward and ask yourself why they still hold space in your mind. What part of yourself do they remind you to work on? It's also important to recognize that thoughts don't always mean actions need to follow. Just because someone is on your mind doesn't mean you need to reach out, chase them, or try to bring them back into your life. Sometimes the best thing you can do is sit with those thoughts, understand why they're there, and then choose to release them. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means accepting that what's in the past has served its purpose and it's time to move forward. Your thoughts are powerful, but they don't control you. You control them. If someone is constantly on your mind, it's okay to acknowledge it, but don't let it consume you. Instead of asking why they won't leave your thoughts, ask yourself what you need to learn, heal, or grow from. Once you do that, their presence in your mind will naturally begin to fade. And when you free yourself from that mental weight, you open up space for new experiences, new opportunities, and new people who truly align with the path you're meant to walk. Just because someone is always on your mind doesn't mean they are thinking about you in the same way. It's one of the hardest truths to accept, but it's an important one. You could be spending hours reliving moments, wondering what they're doing, analyzing every detail of your past interactions, while they may not even give you a second thought. That doesn't mean you don't matter. It doesn't mean your feelings aren't real. It just means that people process emotions and experiences differently. The connection that felt significant to you may not have had the same weight for them. And that's okay. Not everyone who touches your life is meant to stay in it. And not everyone you hold on to mentally is holding on to you in return. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that if someone is always on your mind, it must mean something deeper. Maybe it's fate, maybe it's unfinished business, maybe they're supposed to be in your life in some way. But not every lingering thought is a sign to act. Sometimes it's just your brain holding on to familiarity, to comfort, to a sense of what was. When you invest emotions in someone, your mind creates pathways that make it natural to think about them, even long after they're gone. But the more you revisit those thoughts, the more you reinforce those pathways, making it harder to break free. The question then becomes, are you holding on because they're truly meant for you, or just because you haven't learned how to let go? The truth is, we often romanticize people in our memories. We remember the good moments and overlook the bad. We amplify their importance because of how they made us feel, and sometimes we even build them up to be something greater than they actually were. But reality is different from nostalgia. If this person was meant to be in your life, they would be. If they truly valued the connection as much as you did, you wouldn't have to wonder where you stand with them. Thinking about someone constantly doesn't mean you need to chase them or try to reignite something that has already run its course. It means you need to turn that energy inward and ask yourself what you're truly searching for. Maybe their presence in your mind is a reminder of something unfinished within yourself. Maybe they reflect a part of you that needs healing, growth, or closure. Instead of letting your thoughts revolve around them, shift your focus. Start creating new experiences, forming new connections, and moving forward. The more you invest in yourself, the less power they have over your mind. You can't always control when someone enters your thoughts, but you can control how much space you allow them to take. And once you do that, you free yourself from the weight of the past and open the door to everything new waiting for you. Instead of wondering why someone is always on your mind, it's important to recognize that your thoughts are a reflection of what you value, what you've experienced, and what still lingers unresolved within you. When a person keeps appearing in your mind, it's because something about them left an impression on your heart or your subconscious. Maybe they brought you joy, maybe they hurt you, or maybe they made you feel something that no one else has. Your thoughts are trying to process that impact, to make sense of what they meant to you, and to understand why they still hold space in your mind, even when they're no longer present in your life. Sometimes thinking about someone constantly has little to do with them and everything to do with you. Their presence in your thoughts could be a reflection of something deeper, an insecurity, an unresolved feeling, or a desire that has yet to be fulfilled. Maybe they remind you of a time in your life when you felt more alive, more loved, or more connected. Maybe they represent a version of yourself that you miss. In that case, it's not really about the person at all. It's about what they symbolize for you. And that's where self-reflection becomes crucial. Instead of focusing on them, focus on yourself. What do you truly miss? Is it the person? Or is it how you felt when you were with them? Once you identify that, you can start working on fulfilling those emotions in new, healthier ways. It's also important to recognize that just because someone is on your mind doesn't mean they should be in your life. The past has a way of making us nostalgic, but memories are selective. We tend to remember the good parts more vividly while downplaying the bad. That's why people often feel the urge to reach out to someone they miss, only to be reminded later why things ended in the first place. Your thoughts might be trying to rewrite history to convince you that things were better than they actually were. But reality exists in the present, not in the past. If someone was truly meant to be in your life, you wouldn't have to question it. They would be there, showing up, making the effort, proving that they belong. At the end of the day, you have the power to control your thoughts and decide where your energy goes. If someone is always on your mind, acknowledge it, but don't let it consume you. Shift your focus to growth, to healing, to new experiences that bring you joy and fulfillment. The more you invest in yourself, the less space they will take up in your thoughts. Eventually, they will fade into the background, not because they never mattered, but because you've learned what you needed to from them. And when that happens, you'll realize that the most important person to focus on isn't them, it's you. When someone is always on your mind, it can feel like an endless loop of memories, emotions, and unanswered questions. No matter how much time passes or how busy you keep yourself, they still find a way to occupy your thoughts. This can be confusing, even frustrating, especially when you don't understand why they continue to hold so much space in your mind. But the truth is, your thoughts aren't just fixated on them for no reason. Something about them or the experience you shared left a lasting impression. It could be love, loss, admiration, or even pain. Your mind is trying to process what that person meant to you, what role they played in your life, and why you haven't been able to fully move on. More often than not, it's not the person themselves that you can't let go of, it's the emotions attached to them. Maybe they made you feel a kind of happiness you haven't felt since. Maybe they brought a sense of comfort or excitement that you've been struggling to find elsewhere. Or maybe they represent an unresolved part of your story, something you still don't fully understand. The mind clings to things that feel unfinished. And as long as you feel like there is something left unsaid, undone, or unhealed, that person will continue to show up in your thoughts. It's your subconscious telling you that there is something deeper that needs to be addressed. It's also possible that you've built this person up in your mind, turning them into something bigger than they really were. Memories are tricky like that. They have a way of amplifying the good and minimizing the bad. You might find yourself reminiscing about the moments that made you feel special while forgetting the times they hurt you, ignored you, or walked away. It's easy to get caught up in what could have been, but the reality is, if they were meant to stay in your life, they would have. The fact that they are only present in your thoughts and not in your reality speaks volumes. Sometimes holding on to someone mentally is just a way of avoiding the truth that they have already moved on and you need to as well. But letting go doesn't mean you have to erase them completely. It just means making peace with what was and understanding that some people are only meant to be in your life for a season. Instead of dwelling on why they still cross your mind, focus on what you can learn from the experience. What did they teach you about love, about yourself, about what you truly need? Use those lessons to grow, to heal, and to move forward in a way that serves you. The more you invest in yourself, the less power they will have over your thoughts. Eventually they will fade, not because they didn't matter, but because you have finally found the strength to focus on what truly does. Your own happiness, your own growth, and your own future.